Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Millie and I want to welcome you and to thank you so much for being here. This is probably the video that I should have started with when I started posting on YouTube. So I'm going to introduce myself today and tell you a little bit about myself. And I made some notes so that I do not forget anything. And so if you've been watching this channel, if you're a new subscriber or returning subscriber, you already know that my name is Millie. And you also may know or may not know that I am more proficient in knitting than in crochet. I learned to knit when I was a little kid, maybe in elementary school. But I can crochet, but I do not like it as much as I love to knit. I can knit pretty much anything because I can read a knitting pattern. I cannot really read a crochet pattern, but I mostly crochet blankets and scarves or things like baskets or things like little purses and stuff like that. But when it comes to clothing, I am challenged when it comes to crocheting a cardigan or something like that. So no clothing for me. I haven't mastered that. It's one of the things that I am maybe going to master in the future. Recently, when there was this granny square crochet cardigan that everybody was making, I tried to make one and it didn't really turn out well. So, but that's a video for another day. And so on my notes I had, why YouTube? So I decided to start this channel to share my love for knitting and crochet, but mostly knitting because I am always knitting. I love knitting. It gives me peace. If I have a free moment somewhere, I am knitting. It used to be reading a lot before I started being really focused on knitting, which started around 2014. Before I would take a book with me everywhere. But then when I got back into knitting and I really got into it, now I carry I have my knitting everywhere, but I also have a book, but it's usually in form of an audio book. So if you're interested to know what I am listening to, leave a comment down below because I always have an audio book and I read a lot of different things. So if you're interested to know what I'm currently reading, just leave a comment down below. When and who taught me how to knit? I have a very old memory of learning to knit when I was a young girl, maybe 4th or 5th grade. I'm not very sure. I remember taking this class that we were all taking that was being called home economics, and I was in primary school, or what is called here in the US elementary school, and we were learning how to cook, how to knit and all that stuff. And I remember when I was thinking about this question, I was going back in my mind, and I've always thought that my mom taught me to knit, but I think I learned a little bit in school, and then I learned a lot from my mom because my mom, who is now retired, was a school teacher, and she made all our cardigans when I was growing up, or pullovers. She always had something that she was knitting. I remember that. And we were not allowed to mess with her knitting needles, And I remember her friends or other teachers coming over to learn a new stitch. And I think that's how I honed in my knitting skills. But I also remember in high school, a friend of mine teaching me how to read a knitting pattern. And that was from an encyclopedia, but I cannot remember what it was, but I have that memory. And it was one of those circular yolks which was full of color works, and she taught me how to read the pattern. And I think that is that's how I started. I learned how to read the knitting pattern was from my friend. My preferred knitting needles. So I did not know about circular knitting needles until maybe 2014. I keep going back to that year because that's when I really got into knitting. I didn't know anything about circular knitting needles, but as soon as I found out about circular knitting needles, I went to Walmart and bought a few, but then I was reading online and I found this person talking about Addi's, or reviewing the Addi's knitting needles. And I tried them and I liked them and I got hooked. So most of my knitting needles are the Addi's, and then I started with the regular Addi's, and then I found the Addi Rockets. These ones. The Addi Rockets have sharp tips for intricate knitting, and this is my preferred knitting needle. I have a ton of these, and then I discovered these Chiaogoos, which I also love because they are cheaper. So the price point for these is better than the Addi's, but they both do a good job. And I like this because the needle size is written, or it's inscribed on the knitting needles. So if you can't remember what knitting needle size they are, then you can, well, it's a small number, but you can still look and see what they are, what size they are. So these are my two preferred knitting needles. I rarely use straight knitting needles unless I am making something small, or like I'm testing a pattern, or I'm trying to learn a stitch pattern. Then I'll use some baboon knitting needles. And all my metal knitting needles that I had before I discovered the Addi's are somewhere in a pile that I should probably donate or give to someone who may be interested in the straight knitting needles. My favorite color, you might have heard me say that my favorite color is red. That's my favorite color. And I recently finished a scarf in red right here. Favorite acrylic yarn. So I have two acrylic yarns that I really like, and I use them for different things. So the first yarn that I really like is these Soft Baby Steps by Red Heart. So I mostly use this for baby things, and it doesn't come in so many colors depending on where you're buying it, but anytime I go to Joann's and I find it, I usually will snag a ball for myself and I just have it in my stash. So this is, when I'm doing baby clothes, this is what I love most. And this is usually for like cardigans or hats or something like that. And then for other things, this is my other favorite regular acrylic yarn, the Lion brand Heartland. And I love all the colors. So this is a number 4 weight, and this one too is a number 4, which answers another question. My favorite yarn weight to work with is worsted weight. So, and then I snuck in there the yarn that has really disappointed me. I am sorry, but this didn't live up to what it looked like. This is Lion brand Landscapes. I don't know if they still carry this yarn, but when I bought it online, it looked so beautiful. I mean, look at those colors. It looked so beautiful, and it came in a package of 6. And then I knitted, my goal was to knit some hearts and also some ear warmers with it. And I tried crocheting with it. It's a single ply yarn. Okay, I like the color combination, but this is a single ply acrylic yarn, and I don't really have a good experience with it because it's hard to unravel this. When I tried to flog things that I needed to frog, it wasn't doing it. So I did not like this yarn. And I love the colors, but I didn't like what it was doing. So let's see. And when it comes to natural fibers, my favorite yarn is the superwash merino wool, and I like number 4, but it can be very expensive for the number 4s, but I have a few of those, and I prefer the yarn not to be a single ply like this. This is a single ply, so I don't like single ply. I prefer the other method of winding the yarn or weaving the yarn. I don't know what it's called, or that putting the yarn together is called. I don't really have a favorite place to shop for yarn. I shop in many different places. I'm usually attracted by sales. So if there's a sale at Joann's, then I go there and see if they have what I'm looking for. If they have a sale 30% off at Hobby Lobby, then I go there and get me some yarn. Even online, like I know that there's going to be like a Black Friday soon, and I'm gonna be looking online to see who has good deals. So but back here I have a lot of acrylic yarn, and it's a mix of Hobby Lobby, a mix of something I got from Walmart, something I got from Michael. So it's all over the place, but majority of the yarn that I have here is a 4-weight, apart from this cubicle here that is full of sock yarn that I got from Hobby Lobby when they had the clearance sale, and the yarn was going for very cheap, and so that's why I have a ton of those. And then what is my favorite thing to make? So my favorite thing to make, believe it or not, is socks. And I didn't know why people were making socks, because I feel like they are so thick to wear in shoes. But then once I made a pair and put it on with my boots, I was hooked. And this is the first pair of socks that I ever knit. It doesn't fit as well, but I still wear it. And I did it toe up with a heel and gusset. No, I don't think this one has that. This looks like a different method down here. But anyway, that's the first pair that I made, and I do my socks toe up. And the reason why I like socks are my favorite thing to make, it's because they knit up really fast. There are several techniques that you learn, or there are several techniques that you use when you're making your socks, and those make me feel like, wow, I know how to do this, and it makes me happy. And I also make socks for my mom, and she loves them, and it gives me so much joy. And initially when I gave her the socks, she didn't know that I had made them. She thought that I had bought them, and I thought that was a big compliment, and that is why I enjoy making socks. I also make a ton of washcloths, and washcloths are like my in-between project. And I like making washcloths because they are very practical. You can use them in the kitchen, you can use them in the shower. They knit up really fast. So if you are over there sitting and talking to people and entertaining, you can make your washcloths, and you can finish a washcloth really fast. What is my favorite drink? My favorite drink is black tea with milk and sugar, and it's hot black tea with milk and sugar. I tell my friends, even at work, that I am drinking tea, and they are thinking I'm drinking iced tea, and I'm like, no, I am drinking black tea with milk and sugar, and that's how I drink it, and that's how I've always drank it, and that's my favorite drink. And then the last thing on my list is November is my birthday month, and I think yesterday or the day before, I reached 100 subscribers, and I am so happy. I am so excited. And so to celebrate my birthday month, and to celebrate reaching 100 subscribers, I have a little giveaway. So I have this yarn that it's called Barocco Cambria is the name of the yarn, and it is 60% alpaca, baby alpaca, 20% linen, and 20% lyocell. And the care instructions are: head wash in cold water, lay flat to dry. It is 137 yards, and the recommended knitting needles is US 6, crochet hook, G or 4 millimeters. So it's an alpaca, and there is how many? I see there's 137 yards. This is a 50-gram skein. So it's a nice fall color, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 skeins of this alpaca. So I'm gonna be doing a giveaway at the end of this month, and this is going to go to somebody. So in order to be entered into the draw to win this yarn, leave a comment down below and let me know. You can let me know what month you were born. You don't have to say the date, or just leave a comment and like this video and say something in the comments. And then once I draw the winner at the end of the month, then I'll send you this yarn. So, and if you would like to know something else about me, just leave a comment and I'll talk about it in a future video. So that is all I have for today. I want to thank you all for being my subscribers and for taking your time to listen to me. And until next time, bye.